Hello, it is I, your boy Gomi, and we are back with another UFC fight tonight. Hope to dear Lord this one is a good one, because I'm gonna be honest with you, last week, that's gotta be one of the worst fight cards I've seen in a long time. But this one is one I've been hyped for, and I don't like the main event as much now that Khamzat Chimaev is pulled out due to being sick once again. Ikram Aliskerov hops in, which I think is very interesting, but I really am a little concerned, though. It might be too early for him. A guy I definitely think could be a future champ and fight for the belt at some point. We might be throwing him into the fire, you know, coming off the glorious wins of Phil Hawes and Warley Alves. I really wish we would stop throwing these garbage cans at touted prospects. Probably get rid of these garbage cans, to be perfectly honest with you, so we could actually have, like, you know, good fighters. Because if Ikram were to go up against some good fighters and get tested, he could probably do better. But oh well. Regardless, this should still be a really good fight card. But one thing I have noticed is, oh god, there have been a lot of fights that have already fallen off within just today. I don't know why, but that worries and concerns me. So yeah, I'm gonna just try to, you know, get this out as soon as possible before more fights fall out. But yes, first we have Xiaolong versus Chang Ho Lee. I believe, don't quote me, that this is the road to UFC finale, if I believe correctly. But yes, both these guys, of course, have fought on road to UFC. And I gotta say, man, it's been bangers. It's been absolute bangers. These guys are both pretty exciting and touted prospects. I'm very interested in this fight. I think this is a good fight to start off the card with as well. Chang Ho Lee is not nearly as experienced as Xiaolong. By the way, these records are not accurate whatsoever. It is actually 26-7 for Long, and then 9-2, 9-1, I believe, for Chang Ho Lee. He's 9. He's got 9 wins. I can't remember on the loss. 1 or 2. It's 1. It's 1 decision. Okay, cool. But yes, I think this is going to be a very exciting fight. I think Xiaolong is going to be using his experience to kind of get the victory over Chang Ho Lee. Chang Ho Lee really focuses heavily on grappling. He is a very grappling heavy eccentric fighting style. They got a little bit of it. So yeah, 4.3 takedown average makes sense. But the takedown defense of Xiaolong is pretty decent. And Xiaolong as well too is pretty solid everywhere, having knockouts and quite a bit of submissions. I'm actually going to be leaning towards Long in the submission because I feel this is going to turn into a bit of a grappling battle. Either way, should be a fun fight. Abu Izatar versus Dennis Tululin was already a short notice fight, and it's gone. Abu was replaced with Cedricus Dumas, and now I believe that Cedricus Dumas is pulled out, so I'm not going to be covering this fight at all. I was going to cover the Dumas fight versus Tululin, but I literally just read that fight's off, I'm pretty sure, so we're not going to talk about it. I didn't even, whatever. Magomed, not even gonna try it. I have no desire to try it. Maybe, God, yeah, nope. I'm just gonna be a offensive piece of shizer if I do that. Regardless, he's going up against Brandon Ribeiro. Why is Magomed a minus 300 favorite? Let's see if he's gone down. That's not UFC. I'm looking at the odds. I'm like, this doesn't look like UFC. Yeah, minus 345. So upon trying to do tape for this guy, I was able to find not really anything. Not really anything. He fought an Eagle FC, for crying out loud, and that's, I think, the only fight I was able to reliably find. He did do a lot of amateur fights, and he had some kickboxing matches I saw, but in terms of his MMA matches, it's one of those things where I'm like, are you even real fighters? And then his Contender Series bout, which he didn't really look that good, to be perfectly honest with you. Brandon Ribeiro, I don't think is insanely good as well too. He got the living shizer beat out of Zhang, but he's got power. He's kind of like a glass cannon. He's either gonna knock you out round 1 or get knocked out round 1, and he has 100% finish rate across all of his wins, only seeing a decision once and being on the wrong side of it. I think if it goes the distance, it'll be Magomed, but I think from what we've seen, I'm leaning towards Ribeiro, especially at dog money. Is it something I really would recommend betting? No, but if you must, I'm going dog or pass on this one. I'm going to go Ribeiro, and I'm going to go by KO since he just knows the way of violence. Kango Kong versus Muin Gaforov. This is not much of a fight, to be perfectly honest with you. I think Muin Gaforov should probably win it, but I just don't really like either fighter, to be perfectly honest with you. This is not something I'm really looking at to bet, not really something I'm really looking at towards watching. Kong is really good with his submission game as well too. I do like his submission game. Muin Gaforov, he's got a lot of finishes, yeah, but against trash cans. Against trash cans. And yeah, I just feel like this should be, it's too hard to really say as well too. What are the odds? I'm pretty sure it's like pretty even, right? Ooh, Muin Gaforov's a decent favorite, -155. I don't know how I feel about that. I'm staying away from this fight, and I don't even think it should be that good of a fight. Renat Fakhretdinov versus Nicholas Dalby. I think this will be an actually really good fight, to be honest with you. Renat Fakhretdinov is a guy I'm in pretty high on. He's really solid in terms of his club and sub. I think he does a great job of getting fights to the ground and submitting them, and he does a really good job of just powering through opponents. Like his fight against Kevin Lee, decimated him, absolutely decimated him. He's really only struggled against Brian Battle, who he still managed to beat, which is very impressive. And his last fight against Zaleski dos Santos, which scares me because I think Zaleski dos Santos is not that good, to be honest with you. And Nicholas Dalby is coming off a really good win over Gabriel Bonfim, the older Bonfim brother who I thought would not fail me. He ended up failing me and getting hype derailment because Bonfim just gassed out. Just absolutely gassed out, did everything he possibly can to get the finish, and lo and behold, didn't get the finish. So I don't know, I'm personally going to be going with Renat Fakhretdinov. I've been very impressed by him, and I just think he's very solid overall. Nasrat Haqparast versus Jared Gordon. This is a weird fight to me, to be honest with you. Nasrat Haqparast, I don't think is as good as we all expected him to be, to be perfectly honest with you. But I like his boxing. I think his boxing is pretty solid. I think he could be able to outbox Jared Gordon. Jared Gordon, I don't know, man. He's so wishy-washy. Like, he'll look super, super good against Joe Selecki. And he doesn't look very good at all against Grant Dawson. Like, what the hell was that? He pieces up Bobby Green and then he gets TKO'd by a headbutt. He won against Paddy, but the thing is, like, he won against Paddy, but only barely, and it didn't look that good. It was so unconvincing enough that I did a live bet on Paddy Pimblett because I'm like, he's winning, but he's not winning convincingly enough that they're just going to go with the guy that they want to win. And I was dead right. That was one of my favorite live bets of all time. And I keep in mind, I live bet Paddy at some pretty heavy, like, plus odds. I think he was like plus 300 or something like that. So yeah, I'm not a fan of Jared Gordon. He's so inconsistent. And Nasrat Haqparast, he's been very consistent across his last 3 fights. I'm surprised that he didn't knock out Makdessi, to be honest with you, but other than that, he knocked out Jamie Malarkey in 1-on-1, just like I said he would. I don't think he's gonna knock out Jared Gordon, to be honest with you, but I think he'll probably beat him up over the course of 15 minutes. So give me Haqparast by decision, but I don't know, I can see him also just knocking out Gordon. I don't know. Also, how the hell did Gordon absolutely just obliterate Mark Madsen? Shara Magomedov, Shara Bullet versus Jolton Ludabach. I believe this is also a short notice replacement as well too for whoever Shara was supposed to fight initially. I remember that was supposed to be a good fight. Regardless, Ludabach, I'm pretty sure they just marched the man out to die. I don't think Shara is some elite level problem threat that he's going to just absolutely murder Ludabach. But I'm just very confident that Shara Bullet's going to win. I definitely don't think Shara Bullet, to be honest with you, is the elite level finisher he was touted as until he came into the UFC, because He came to UFC against Bruno Silva, who I've seen knocked out before. Yeah, he fought him to a decision, and he didn't even look that good doing it. And that was God knows how long ago. It was in October, wasn't it? Not very active, and I'll be honest with you, at this UFC level, I don't think he's going to be getting many finishes. But Jan Ludabach, yeah, he's tough. He's pretty freaking tough. He's only lost really by decision. He's been finished 3 times, only 2 times were knockouts. Shada is not a submission guy. He's got no submission, so it's knockout or decision for him. I think Ludabach is too tough to get knocked out, to be perfectly honest with you. But I definitely think Shada is going to win it with pretty high confidence. And then on to the main event, the main card, Johnny Walker versus Volkan Oezdemir. I'm going to be honest with you guys, I'm not a Johnny Walker sexual. And if you're a fan of the channel, you know why. You know why. Because I just can't get this man right. I just can't. I just cannot. I'm so bad at predicting his fights. He's so inconsistent. 1 minute he'll look like a goddamn world beater, next champion. Next minute he'll look like an absolute garbage can. The only time I think I've gotten one of his fights correct was, his most recent fight against Magomed Ankalaev. Jamal Hill. I got the Jamal Hill fight right. Yeah, literally Jamal Hill, I said round 1 knockout, and I said Magomed Ankalaev, I think I said round 2 or 3 knockout. I can't remember. You guys can go back and see it, but I know I just picked him by knockout. Otherwise, I knew he'd beat Smith, but I thought he would knock him out with the distance. I thought Paul Craig would submit him. He knocked him out. I thought he'd knock out Kutalaba. No, I thought he'd go distance of Kutalaba, I think. I can't remember. Whatever case is, I lost money on it. I lose so much money on Johnny Walker, so I'm just going to stop betting on his fights, and I'm going to tell, like, don't take my advice when it comes to Johnny Walker. So, here's my thing. Here's what I say. I think he's going to run through Volkan Oezdemir. I think Volkan Oezdemir is not good, to be honest with you. But also, he looks not good because he's fought up against really tough guys. Like going against Nikita Krylov, who's pretty solid. And then also Magomed Ankalaev, who I just mentioned. And Jiri Prochazka, Dominic Reyes. Yeah, he's gone up. He's been through the ringer with a lot of these fights. So that's important to mention. But I still just don't think he's all that good, to be perfectly honest with you. I'm going to be leaning towards Johnny Walker, but with not high confidence, because oh well. And Muhammad Naimov versus Melzik Bagdasaryan is off. I don't know who pulled out, but I know it's off. Kelvin Gastelum versus Daniel Rodriguez. Why is this on the Saudi card? I could kind of see where they were going with a lot of these fights. Why is this on the Saudi card? Kind of weird. Regardless, I think it should be a fun fight. I've been pretty critical of Kelvin Gastelum. I am a guy who I saw his fight against Israel Adesanya all those years ago, and I was like, this is one of the best fights I've ever seen. It was amazing, a great fight. This is why I'm such a fan of Israel Adesanya. Well, no, I've been a fan of Izzy before that fight, but it's what made me really a Kelvin Gastelum fan, because before then he was always just that scrappy guy. But he just has so many losses. He's just... like that Izzy fight is like the Reyes fight. Like, we just took all of it out of him. He's had 2 wins since the Izzy fight back in 2019. He's lost to Till, Hermanson, Whittaker, Cannonier, and most recently, he went down against Sean Brady. And I thought he was going to run through Sean Brady because he did so well against Chris Curtis. Chris Curtis is where I counted him out. I was like, nah, Chris got this. He's going to knock him out. Or he's going to be... No, I think he said he'd knock him out. Why did he do that? That was stupid. And then against Sean Brady, I was like, nah, Sean Brady, nah, he's not at that level. He's not at that freaking level. And yeah, Sean Brady absolutely just decimated him in all aspects. I don't think D-Rod's going to do the same, but I can see D-Rod holding him up against the cage and being stronger in the grappling aspect, just as well due to the fact that Kelvin Gastelum's just getting up there in age. I think Kelvin should win this fight, to be perfectly honest with you. Vegas thinks Kelvin Gastelum should win this fight pretty handedly. I'm going to tell you that is a trap. Minus 250 for Gastelum is not worth it. There's no money to be made on this fight. You're going to go in there and pick Kelvin Gastelum minus 250, and D-Rod is going to make it way too close, and Kelvin's going to lose a split decision. No. I'm going to take Kelvin Gastelum to win it by decision, but make no mistake, D-Rod, he can be decently tough. The only thing is, he's got chin pretty bad against Gary in his last fight, and then Neil Magny pieced him up, but that's it. And then on to the fights that I actually think are top, the top tier fights, the fights that I actually wrote a graphic up on, is good old Sergey Pavlovich taking on Alexander Volkov at apparently lightweight. Did I not mess? God, it's so hard. Like, the spreadsheet's gotten too convoluted now. I need to delete a lot of stuff. Regardless, I just put numbers in a spreadsheet and it goes to a live doc and I save it. Regardless, it's going to be Sergey Pavlovich versus Alexander Volkov. This is heavyweight, boys. Not lightweight, not light heavyweight. This is heavyweight. These are some of the biggest guys in the damn UFC. Sergey Pavlovich is going to be 32 years of age, 18 wins, 2 losses, 15 freaking knockouts. Not a damn submission to his name. 6'3" in terms of height, southpaw stance, 84-inch reach, advantage. Yes, he is tied for the highest reach in the UFC. He has 0 takedowns, a 49.51% significant strike accuracy, a minus 225 favoritism. Significant wins over Curtis Blades, Tai Tuivasa, Derek Lewis, and Shamil. Alexander Volkov is going to be 35 years of age, 37 wins, 10 losses, 24 knockouts, 4 submissions, 6'7" in terms of height. He's not the tallest fighter in the UFC, is he? I think he's tied with Robelis. Oh, I'm sorry. Robelis has the longest reach in the UFC now. I forgot about him. He used to be Sergey and Jones. But yes, Volkov has an 80-inch reach. It's nothing to snuff at either. God damn, their reach is like 20 more than mine, I think, or something like that. I can't remember. I have Paul Costa's reach. Whoever his reach is, I have that. He has a 0.49 takedown average, a significant strike accuracy of 62.16%, and he is a plus 185 underdog, forgive me. Significant wins over Tai Tuivasa, Alexander Romanov, Jairzinho Frozen Strike, and Marcin Tybura. Alexander Volkov is still decent, but I think Sergey Pavlovich is gonna run through him. Like, yeah, Sergey got knocked out pretty handily in his last fight against Tom Aspinall, but Tom Aspinall is just too freaking good, too freaking fast, and the fight was on short notice. So that's one thing to mention, but nah. Sergey Pavlovich is still that guy. He is still a savage. He ran through Blades. That's just right there. That's all you need to say. He ran through Blades, ran through Ty, ran through Lewis, and ran through Shamil. Those aren't like, okay, cool, yeah, he ran through those guys. Most heavyweights could probably run through those guys if they swing and bang hard enough. But the fact that he ran through Blades like that, I think Sergey Pavlovich is going to be able to beat the living shiz out of Alexander Volkov, but I think it's going to be a tough matchup. Tough for one round. I think it'll be a tough one round matchup. I think Volkov will have some success, but Sergey is going to go. The only issue I can see is if Sergey is sort of hesitant or whatever, shaky after that knockout to Aspinall, but it's been long enough of a time. But make no mistake, Volkov is dangerous. He's got 24 wins by knockout. My man is just a knockout king, but he's really shied away from it. Well, shied away from one fight. The fact that he didn't want to swing, stand and bang with Ty told me that he wasn't as comfortable with the power of Ty, and Sergey has more power than Ty does. Now, Alexander Volkov can exploit the grappling of most fighters. Sergey Pavlovich, I don't know why we're still under this guise that he's an awful grappler from back to his loss to Overeem, his UFC debut. He stuffed Blade's takedowns. Like, yeah, I know Blade only shot 1 or 2, but regardless, he looked good against that, and I definitely think he's going to be good when it comes to getting taken down. I think his takedown defense is going to be solid, but ultimately, I'm going to be leaning towards Sergey Pavlovich by TKO, unless the new gloves are really, really cursed, and we don't get a TKO, which would be pretty funny, but awful, but funny. And on to the main event of the evening. We're going to have Robert the Reaper Whittaker take on Ikram Aliskerov. This should be a good fight. I'm a little concerned, but I gotta say, if there's anybody who's able to derail the hype train, it would indeed be Ikram Aliskerov. It would definitely be Robert Whittaker. But is he gonna be able to do that? I'm not sure. But I definitely think this will be a more closer fight than a lot of people think. But I definitely think this is going to be a tough fight for Ikram due to the fact that he's really only fought cans. Robert Whittaker is by far the most accomplished guy he's faced. He is a top tier level fighter. Robert Whittaker is a game fighter as well too, but I don't know. I think Ikram has the potential to kind of alleviate a few of Robert Whittaker's tendencies. But we'll see. We'll see. This is going to be a middleweight matchup. Robert Whittaker is going to be 33 years of age, 26 wins, 7 losses, 10 knockouts, 5 submissions, 6 foot on the dot, orthodox stance, a 73.5-inch reach advantage, a 0.81 takedown average, a 45.83% significant strike accuracy, and he's a -135 favorite. Significant wins over Paulo Costa, Marvin Vettori, Kelvin Gastelum, Jared Cannonier. Ikram Aliskerov is going to be 28 years of age, 15 wins, 1 loss, 6 knockouts, 5 submissions, 6 foot in terms of height, southpaw stance, 73-inch reach disadvantage, a 2.33 takedown average, a 65.43% significant strike accuracy, plus 115 underdog. Significant wins over Warlley Alves and Phil Hawes. Warlley Alves and Phil Hawes are not good wins. Robert Whittaker's taking on Costa, Vettori, Gastelum, Cannonier. He's solid. The only issues I have with Robert Whittaker is he still has that karate blitz style. Now, he's mixed in alternate with more of a traditional MMA style, but the karate blitzes are still there. And I feel that can be an absolute problem, especially if you're going up against someone that could properly counter it, like say a Dricus du Plessis. I was proper and correct in deciding that Dricus du Plessis would beat Robert Whittaker. I called it because I knew that Dricus du Plessis had what he needed. He had the blueprint that was laid out by Jared Cannonier. Cannonier wasn't able to properly achieve it. Ikram Aliskerov, on the other hand, he can do that. I just don't know if he will. So that's why it's a harder fight. I'm not confident in it. The thing is with Ikram Aliskerov is he is a southpaw. He is a southpaw, and if you properly time your jabs, if you time your power jabs, southpaw power jabs to Robert Whittaker, and you just deck him in the face right as he blitzes in, you could hurt him bad. He also was shown to be out-grappled by Dricus du Plessis. Ikram Aliskerov can absolutely out-grapple him. We haven't seen a lot of his grappling in the UFC, but he hasn't needed it. He's been knocking people out. I don't want to oversell Ikram's power just because he knocked out Alves and Hawes, who have no chin, but he knocked them out in a 1 round, which is how he should have treated him. Robert Whittaker, though, still has tons of skill on the feet, tons of grappling advantages, tons of skill in terms of grappling. I just think Ikram is only a little bit better than him in grappling, but I think Whittaker is better in striking, but I don't think Whittaker has power. I'm sorry. A lot of people say, oh, Whittaker does have power. He just goes against people, can't be knocked out, yada, yada, yada. I don't care what you say. Whittaker has not had a knockout since 2017. It's 2014. It's been 7 years. It's been 7 years since man has last knocked somebody out, but he's been knocked out twice, so yeah. It's not a slight to him. Again, he went up against Yoel Romero, but you should have knocked out Till. He went against Cannonier, who had never been finished at middleweight, and still, like, no, Gav here, Nazarene. And then, yeah, Gastelum, Vettori, I get it. But Costa, he could have finished. Costa, I think he could have finished. Regardless, Ikram Aliskerov is going to be a very tough matchup. His main tool is going to be timing those blitzes and mixing in the grappling as well too. If he can get a dominant position, land some ground and pound, some elbows, he could definitely beat Robert Whittaker. The main concern I have for Robert Whittaker is really when he said he had no idea who Ikram Aliskerov was. I get it, he's not ranked, and I get you probably don't watch fights, but nah, you gotta know who Ikram is. You gotta, if you're Robert Whittaker, you gotta know who everybody is in your division, because there's a chance you will be stepping across from them on a moment's notice. Yes, this could turn out to be, man, what were we thinking? Why did we think Ikram could take him on? We were having number ranked 3 going up against a nobody, but we can also look back and go, wow, Ikram Aliskerov, we knew he's going to be a problem, but he's more of a problem we thought. I don't know. I'm going to believe in the Ikram Aliskerov hype train just because I just, those weaknesses for Whittaker are right there. Costa was not the guy to exploit them, but wherever the case is, Whittaker by decision is very good. Those are very good odds. I get it's 5 rounds, but I just don't think Whittaker. Yeah, Ikram he's knocked out once by Hamza Chimaev, but I just don't think Whittaker's gonna be a knockout. He can. It's risky. It's risky. I don't like the bet either way. I think pick who you like, bet them straight. I'm going to be going Ikram Aliskerov, to be perfectly honest with you. I like what I've seen from him more, but I acknowledge that Robert Whittaker is one of the best middleweights, so might be a hot take. Regardless, that is going to be all I have on UFC Saudi Arabia. Bring on more Saudi cards because it makes them actually have to try. I still laugh so hard how they straight up, like, the Saudi princess strip said, nope, that card is but we don't want it, and they canceled it and moved everything to Vegas, and now they gave him actually a good card. Would have been better if it wasn't for all the pullouts and also Hamza Chimaev. But whatever the case is, this should still be a very fun card. I'm mainly looking forward to Sergey Pavlovich on the card by far. Please let me know what you think of the card and let me know who you are most excited to see in there. Again, it should be Sergey Pavlovich. But once again, this has been your boy Gomi. Bye-bye.